Hey, folks, this is The Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network. I still haven't figured out Google Plus Hangouts. I still haven't figured out how to stream shows or how to get other people to stream shows. I haven't figured that one out yet. But if you're listening on Google Hangouts, thank you. I appreciate that. Let me turn on the chat over there. You can go to YouTube and check that out. And it's what can I say? Lots of things going on. Lots of things happening. I don't know specifically where to begin. I really don't. Because I'm at my wit's end when it comes to this. I am literally at my wit's end. And there is I'm still trying to figure all this out, so sorry, I'm doing like 3 things at once here. The thing that we have to understand is that there's something going on, and we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention. I had to restart the YouTube feed, so if you're over there, thank you. The thing that really has got me, well, let's put it this way. The thing that really has got me twisted and just, I can't put it into words, folks. I really can't. But I can say this. First of all, something's happening with the Google Hangout, so I'm going to have to stop that over there. So, there we go. I don't know what it was, but something happening. So anyway, we have to pay attention. So what's going on around the world? What's going on around the world is a lot of crap. And it's all distractions, and it's all, distracting us from what's important here in the U.S. and all of that, and distracting us from seeing what's behind the curtain. It's not like Monty Hall is, conducting the game or anything, What's behind door number 1? You get the booby prize, okay? The facts are the facts, folks. The facts are the facts. It's no longer a conspiracy theory. It's no longer anything other than the truth, the facts. They're in your face. As you could tell by my voice and all of that, I do get frustrated at the very thing that, well, I'm tired of this poser-in-chief in Washington, D.C. telling me how to live my life. I'm tired of everybody telling me how to live my life. I'm a free, sovereign human being born with God-given gifts, protected by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights prior to 1871, that our founding fathers knew exactly who we were and what we are. But they also, believe it or not, we're not perfect. I'll talk about that right after the break. And I want to encourage people to email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. Hey, you're listening to me at livetruthradio.com. How y'all doing? Pop on over to the Spreaker side of things. Look up Free America Radio Network and join me in the chat there. You guys are more than welcome. Come on over. I'd like to hear from you. I'll be back right after this. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us, and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. Catch up on the latest news and controversy and more on The Spencer Hughes Show on Spreaker.com and SpencerHughes.net. Howdy, folks. This is the Views Express Live right here on the Free America Radio Network. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com is the email address. It is the 18th of September, 2014. How y'all doing? Jump on over to the Spreaker side of things. Go to Free America Radio Network. Join me in the chat. Give me your views as to what's going on. Welcome for another day of me pulling the curtain away, exposing who's behind the curtain, pulling the levers and pushing the buttons, sharing with you the truth one fact at a time. I don't know it all. I don't claim to know it all. I don't want to know it all. I'd be bored, because there wouldn't be anything else to learn. I know what I know, I share what I share, and I know that you want to know the truth, want to know what's going on behind the scenes. Well, this is what's going on behind the scenes. I did not know that 3,000 military personnel could go battle Ebola. What are they going to do, shoot at it? I don't know what they're going to do, but I know that on the other side of the world that Israel is pretty pissed off at the U.S., and so, as Netanyahu said, if Iran does anything, they have a right to defend themselves. It looks like Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is true to his word. Lots of things are going on, but it is a distraction. It's all a distraction, folks. Now, why do I say that? Well, I say that, number one, because it is. And number two, it's a distraction because they want us not looking behind the curtain. Okay? From truthdig.com, Edward Snowden, the NSA is passing Americans' private data to a secret Israeli military organization. From let's see here. There's a lot of stuff on Free America Radio that I want to highlight from yesterday, but there's a lot of other news. So let's go to Reuters.com. Check out some stuff there as well. U.S. Senate approves bill to arm moderate Syrian rebels. Really? Folks, let me give you a reality check. Okay? We're funding both sides. Got it? We're funding both sides. Okay? Again, distraction. We have I don't know how to put this. We have the dumbest freaking administration on the face of this planet. Well, I say that, as you can tell, I'm laughing about that, but I think they're pretty smart in the sense that they're trying to hide stuff from the general public, from you and I, and we're seeing everything they're hiding. This is, there's like, you don't see me. Standing behind that's like a fat man standing behind a really skinny tree. I'm hidden. You can't see me. What? It just, that's like, it's ridiculous, folks. Okay? It's just absolutely ridiculous. The U.S. Senate on Thursday easily approved controversial legislation requested by President Barack Obama to allow the training and arming of moderate Syrian rebels in their fight against Islamic State militants. I laugh because isn't that what they did anyway with Benghazi? Senate passage by a vote of 78 to 22 came a day after approval by the House of Representatives. Really? The Senate legislation also temporarily keeps the government running in the fiscal year that starts October 1st and reauthorizes, see, we need to shut this down too, reauthorizes the Export-Import Bank through June 2015. The bill now goes to Obama for signing into law. We need to shut down the Export-Import Bank, period, end of sentence, because your tax dollars go there and then they go to Saudi Arabia and wherever else, and they work closely with the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Hello? You're funding all of this bull crap. We need to shut down the Export-Import Bank. We need to shut down a lot in this government. Okay. Still at Reuters.com. Islamic State shows British journalist in new video, shows captive British journalist in new video. Home Depot says 56 million card details likely stolen in breach. Here's a big one, folks, and we have to pay attention to this one. Here's this, if the stupid video doesn't start on me, because every once in a while. We have to pay attention to this, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you my take on this. Scotland is voting for independence from England. They've been partners and working together for the past 300 years, folks. Over 300 years. Scotland has voted on whether to stay within the United Kingdom or declare independence to break from the 307-year-old union in a finely balanced referendum with global consequences. Scotland's verdict on the union should be clear around breakfast time on Friday, but a YouGov poll of 1,828 voters previously polled indicated 54% of Scots would back the union, while 46% would seek independence. Quote, this YouGov poll indicates the union has prevailed, unquote, says the research manager there, Lawrence Wanta Lipinski, told Reuters of the survey carried out on Thursday, which was not an exit poll. I want to emphasize that. Quote, it looks like the union will remain intact for the time being, unquote. Okay. Polling booths close at 2100 General Mountain, or whatever it is, GMT, from remote highlands and islands to the tough city estates of Glasgow, with surveys suggesting Scots were almost equally divided in a vote watched closely by Britain's allies, investors, and restive regions at home and abroad. Let me tell you what's going to happen, folks, if they get their independence, which I hope they do. They seriously need to start, living on their own and doing things away from, the city of London. They have a lot of oil. They have a lot of resources. They have a lot of area, there's a lot there, and they can sustain themselves for a very, very long time. That's one thing. They can market themselves out to the rest of the world and, of course, sustain themselves. But I heard this today, and I don't know if I agree with this, but if Scotland does get their independence, I would look for something to happen, such as a false flag event, to bring them down. Now, don't quote me on that, but I don't see Scotland getting their independence. I would hope that they would, but I don't see it. And if they do, then they do. But my opinion is I don't think they're going to get it. I really don't. The recent polls gave the No campaign, those in favor of remaining in the United Kingdom, a slight edge. But as many as 600,000 people undecided up to the last moment held the key. The final poll of polls by the nonpartisan What Scotland Thinks website put the No campaign at 52% and the Yes camp on 48%. That measure has never given the independence campaign a lead despite a sharp narrowing in recent weeks. Financial markets lodged a raft of late bets that Scots would reject independence, pushing the pound and Scottish-based stocks higher in the final hours of polling. Analysts say that means there will be far more dramatic market reaction to a yes vote than if Scotland opts to stay part of the United Kingdom. French President Francois Hollande said the vote would be decisive for Europe as well as Britain. Quote, after a half-century of building Europe, we risk entering a period of destruction, unquote, or deconstruction, he said on Thursday. Those in favor say such fears are overblown. They say Scots, not politicians in London, should rule Scotland and see a bright future for an independent Scotland in Europe, a fairer society, and strong ties with London. Those opposed say a split would show economic growth, diminish the United Kingdom's international standing, threaten the unity of other countries, and tip the balance in favor of people who want Britain to leave the European Union. Many people see the choice, which has divided families and friends, but also electrified a country of 5.3 million, as one of the hearts versus heads. What is it going to take, folks, for people to understand that when you look at London, specifically the city of London, which is within that is the financial arm of this triune New World Order, this one world government, that's the financial arm. Why is that the financial arm? Because that's how it was set up. Okay? When you look at things like this, like Scotland after 307 years wanting to separate and be independent, you're looking at some, well, let's just say somebody's got to grease the squeaky wheel. And this wheel is about ready to fall off because Scotland is key, from what I understand, is key to the infrastructure, financially, economically, politically, to London. And from what I found out, and I don't know how true this is, you guys may want to go look this up yourself, Scotland plays a key role in sustaining the political aspect of London. The whole parliament thing, all of that. so you take a country you've had as your partner for 307 years and they go off and become independent. What's that going to do to your infrastructure? You know what I mean? So it doesn't look good. I don't think they're going to split. I really don't. Economically, I don't think it's viable for them to do so. Politically, I think they should, because that will give them their own space, their own way of doing things. But then again, if they do split, what is that gonna do with England not being a part of the European Union? Because they are a big part of that area. So this is, look for a false flag event to keep them in place. But like I said, technically, I really don't think they're going to split. I really don't. Here's another one from the newamerican.com, and I'll put this up on the Free America Radio Facebook page. House passes Federal Reserve audit bill. The House of Representatives passed a bill on September 17th, that was yesterday, that would require the U.S. Comptroller General to make a full audit of the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve banks. The legislation, quote, the Federal Reserve Transparency Act of 2013, unquote, was passed by an overwhelming 333 to 92 bipartisan vote. The measure received bipartisan support, with 106 Democrats joining 227 Republicans to pass it. The bill, H.R. 24, was introduced by Representative Paul Brown, Republican of Georgia, whom The Hill quoted as saying, quote, this is a vital piece of legislation that will help to usher in a new era of transparency in this nation's monetary policy. The Federal Reserve is a creation of Congress. No, it's not. That's a complete lie right there. And it must therefore be subject to the oversight and regulation of Congress. No, it's not a creation of Congress, folks. It's not. It's a creation of the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds back in 1913, twisting the arm of progressive president of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, who signed the Federal Reserve Act into law behind closed doors. Yeah, don't even tell me I'm wrong. I did my work. He also signed in the Internal Revenue Act, which is the Internal Revenue Service. Both of them are private companies. It's kind of like the mafia loaning you money and then telling you, oh, I loaned you $100. This week you owe me $110. Excuse me? And then the IRS comes in as the enforcer and breaks your legs or takes your property. Brown, in a statement posted on his House website, quote, today's passage of the Audit the Fed bill brings us one step closer towards bringing a much-needed transparency to our nation's monetary policy. For the past 100 years, the Federal Reserve, a quasi-government agency, it's not quasi-government, it's private. These people are total idiots, has acted under a veil of secrecy, controlling our monetary policies and thus our economy. While in recent years the Fed has been granted a greater role in overseeing the regulation of our financial system, current law specifically prohibits audits of the Federal Reserve deliberations, decisions, or actions on monetary policies. The lack of accountability and transparency has led to grievous consequences, and it must end. Unquote. In his statement, Brown also called on Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid to bring the bill before the Senate for a vote. You think he's going to do that? I really don't think Harry Reid's going to do that. I really don't. Honestly, I really, really don't. Harry Reid is a total douchebag. I know I live in the state he's from, but I don't care. He's a total douchebag. Okay? He's a criminal. You name it. I don't know, folks. Here we are. We're in a country supposedly free. Supposedly we can, we have a constitutional protections of our God-given rights, and we are free to do whatever it is we need to do. Just don't yell fire in a movie theater. And we have a way to govern ourselves. Oh, by the way, FYI, each state has legislative, judicial, and executive branches, so we don't need centralized government. Okay? Just saying. I think people need to chop Washington, D.C. off and toss it into the Atlantic. Facts are facts, folks. And they're staring you in the face. Washington, D.C. does not give a crap about you at all, never has, never will. They are controlled by corporations and lobbyists and special interest groups. They're not controlled by you. You, in the millions, need to go to Washington, D.C., storm the White House, and make sure that these people do exactly what you want. Now, somebody might say, sounds like the Bolshevik Revolution, when they overthrew the czars. Not a bad idea, huh? But I am not calling for that. I am more peaceful in the sense that we can turn this government around when millions of people get involved, get into the streets. As Brian Lang would say, you know, what's he say? You know what he says. Stand up, speak out, get involved. And the fact of the matter is that has made the difference in this country. When people stand up, speak out, and get involved, they move things along. Here's the difference. Everybody says that administrations come and go, that they kick the can down the road. You've heard that phrase before in politics. Well, you and I need to pick that can up, throw it at these dumbasses, and hit them right between the eyes with it and say, look, jackass, you're going to do what we tell you to do. We're tired of this. And if you don't like it, get out of office. Save us the trouble of voting your butt out of office. Because if you've done anything treasonous against this country, we're going to have you arrested and thrown in prison. That will probably scare the bejesus out of them. By the way, did you know that the federal marshal, the provost marshal or something like that, him and I can't remember the other person, can go into the White House, walk into the Oval Office, grab him and Biden and throw their asses in jail and say, okay, we're going to have somebody take over because you guys screwed things up. They can do that. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. Free America Radio at USA.com. Hey, if you want to chat with me, come on over to the Spreaker side of things. Go to Spreaker.com. Find Free America Radio Network. Hit the play button. Jump into the chat room and talk to me, because I want to hear from you. Anybody over there on Live Truth Radio can chat with me as well. Just come on over. If you can't do that, go ahead and email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. That would be great, folks. That would be fan-freaking-tastic. I would love that. It's coming down to the bottom of the hour break. I usually take my break around the bottom of the hour. Sometimes I just go past it and go to the 40-minute mark. But I'm going to take a break. Yes, I'm going to take a break. So there you go. I shall be back. Again, freeamericaradio@usa.com is the email address. Please put in the subject line radio so I know you heard this show. Thank you, and I shall return.
Take the last train to Boston. See them both run. He's leaving. On that midnight train to Georgia.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on The Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. Hey, folks, welcome back. This is Reviews Express live right here on the Free America Radio Network. freeamericaradio.us. Yes. How y'all doing today? Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Go to Spreaker.com, find Free America Radio Network, hit the play button, join me in the chat room. I'd like to hear what you have to say. So anyway, it's a fun Thursday, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes, it's one of those days, folks. Free America Radio on Facebook. Free America Radio on Facebook. Hey, I want to promote another show. I've heard it a couple of times, and it's really, really good. It's called Red Pill Radio Show over on Alternate Current Radio. And the host is Ashley Jones over there, Red Pill Radio Show, alternatecurrentradio.com. Go check that out as well. The link is up on Free America Radio. I've got it up there twice. Aren't I a silly goof? Okay, let me take care of one of these. Anyway, folks, holy crap. Anybody live in Texas? Yeah. blogs.dallasobserver.com. In Texas, search warrants can now be based on a, quote, prediction of a future crime. Okay? We got a problem here, folks. If they're going to get warrants on crimes that haven't been committed yet, yeah. By the way, you can go to startpage.com, look up pre-crime technology. Go check that out. Go check that out. Now, from blogs.dallasobserver.com, it says police in Parker County had been watching Michael Fred Renberg's home for a month when, late in the summer of 2010, they received a tip from a confidential informant that Warrenberg and several others were, quote-unquote, fixing to cook meth. Hours later, after midnight, officers walked through the front door, rounded up the people inside, and kept them in handcuffs in the front yard for an hour and a half. The only potential problem, at least from the constitutional standpoint, was that the cops didn't have a search warrant. They got one later before they seized the boxes of pseudoephedrine, stripped lithium batteries, and other meth-making materials, while the alleged meth cooks waited around in handcuffs, but by then they had already waltzed through the home uninvited. They neglected to mention this on their warrant application, identifying a confidential informant as their only source of information. Warrenberg's lawyers, there was more than one, argued during the hearings that the seized material had been taken illegally and shouldn't be allowed as evidence. The motion was denied. The trial court cited federal, quote-unquote, independent source doctrine, which allows illegally seized evidence a third party told them about beforehand, and Warrenberg pleaded guilty to 1 count of possession and 1 count of intent to manufacture, getting 5 years in prison. The Second Court of Appeals in Fort Worth wasn't so eager to overlook what appeared to be a clear case of police misconduct and overturned the lower court's ruling. But it's the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals that has the final say, and last week they agreed with the trial court. In a majority opinion, Judge Elsa Alcala wrote that while Texas, quote, exclusionary rule, unquote, bans illegally seized evidence from trial, federal precedent indicates that it can be introduced if it was first confirmed by an independent source. Interesting how that works, eh? Is that interesting to you? Now you can get popped for crimes you haven't committed yet. Yeah. Or a confidential informant could be a friend of yours. Keep your friends closer and your close and your enemies closer. You never know who's going to rat you out. Okay? So my suggestion, just keep your eyes and ears forward and keep yourself out of trouble. Okay? Because now they don't care. All right? They just don't really. No, it's not. They don't really give a crap. Okay? So they're just going to tell you, hey, you know, this is this and this is that. So, you know. Is that interesting? Now, I'm over on LiveTruthRadio.com. I just decided to go over there, and everybody left. I'm over there. I'm looking at the chat room right now at LiveTruthRadio.com. Click on the Listen Live button. You're right there in the chat room. Everybody's gone. Okay? So, just letting you know. So, if you're over there, I'm going to stay there for a couple of minutes to see if anybody's there. And as a matter of fact, I'll put something in here so people know I'm here. Hello. That's what I said. Hello. Anyway, check this out, folks. From Infowars.com, the Alex Jones Show, he says, are we now witnessing the overthrow of reality? There's a video you might want to check out there as well. Also on the Alex Jones Show, John McAfee, McAfee antivirus software guy, him. Okay. He was on talking about the surveillance. He exposes the surveillance panopticon. Okay. So, Free America Radio on Facebook. Check that out if you would, please. Thank you. Like the page. And we shall go from there. So, it doesn't look like anyone's over there on LiveTruthRadio.com. So I will exit out of there. I want people to understand where all this has come from. I want people to understand why our country is in such the shape that it's in. And I can point my finger right at one thing that is absolutely correct. You. Yeah. The people that listen to this show, that knows what's going on, they know, they understand, they see it, they see the corruption. Okay, I'm going to exclude you. You guys go back in the dugout and come back and play this game here in a bit. I'm talking directly to those people who are sitting around going, there's nothing wrong with this country, blah, blah, blah. You're a conspiracy theorist, blah, blah, blah. You sound like freaking, magpies, okay? Sound like a freaking 2-year-old mocking your parents, too, as well. Okay? So why don't you get your head out of your ass and go do the research like I have for over 30 plus years, and it will show you exactly what's going on. Oh, by the way, you don't have to do too much research because they come out on the state-run media and tell you exactly what's going on. You just have to read between the lines. Okay? I find it incredibly odd. Just odd. Just a... dog hears a strange sound and tilts his head odd. That people who listen to this show and other shows, Josh Tolley, Pete Santilli, Alex Jones, Glenn Beck, all of that, and they sit there and they complain. That's not right. He's wrong. Blah, 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 blah. But they don't get up off their ass to go and look for the information. I am totally flabbergasted that people cannot, or will not, depending, accept the truth. So over at Live Truth Radio, that's what it is. Truth. The reality underneath the honesty. Okay? The reality underneath the honesty. Over here, I share the truth one fact at a time, pulling away the curtain, showing you who's pulling the buttons and pushing the handles. Truth. Sharing the truth. One fact at a time. Okay? Nobody wants to accept the truth anymore. Nobody cares. All they care about is their little tracking device called a cell phone that they get from either Sprint or T-Mobile or Cricket or, a number of those places. All they care about is Dancing with the Stars and all of that. Well, what can we do about it? Do you have feet? Do you have hands? You can create signs and go out like Brian Lang and all the others there in Lima, Ohio. Sorry, Brian. And go to the overpasses and go and protest. By the way, it's your First Amendment right to do so you better do it before you lose it. The facts are the facts. You can also go to your city council meetings opened up to the general public. You can also go downtown. Oh, and by the way, in your city, in your township, wherever you live, if you have signs that say free speech zone, screw those. Free speech is countrywide, okay? Border to border, sea to sea. That's your First Amendment right. Freedom of speech. As a matter of fact, why don't you be a little rebellious? Why don't you, I don't want you to destroy property because I was going to say, grab a wrench and take that sign down, but with all the cameras up there, or you could spray paint it. Just reach up and spray paint the damn thing, and just screw it. Put a big round circle with a big red X through it, So why don't you protest? If I was in Lima, Ohio, I'd be going with Brian Lang to the overpasses. So why don't I do it here? Well, who says I don't? Oh. Actually, honestly, I don't. I do go downtown. I do talk to people. I do what is the military calls reconnaissance. Okay? It's a little bit easier when you don't stick out like a sore thumb. Okay, I'm just saying. All right? And I know there's other people here in Reno, Nevada that do the same thing. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but let's just say we got the pulse of the people in the streets. We understand what's going on. We understand the ideas that local law enforcement have. And I also understand, and I've seen this, and this may be happening in your area as well. Your local law enforcement, your local city police are kind of like, yeah, okay, we can do this, and, you know, they do their thing, right? They have their way of doing things, but they also rely on the county sheriff. Because if something big happens, guess who comes in with all the MRAPs and all the military-style equipment? The county. Okay? San Diego County just, I think it was the county, San Diego County just got an MRAP. Why? I'm asking, you know, I had to ask Brian Keller over at, shakeandwakeradio.com, his show, the BK Factor. It's like, why are these people getting, MRAPs? Why? Okay. I'm going to put this up here, too, the antimedia.org article. And it's not just the county, folks. It's not just the county. Let me put this up on Free America Radio on Facebook. It's not just the county. I'll read this to you as soon as I put it up there. It's oh my God. Your blood is going to start spurting out of your eyes here when I read this to you. Okay? It's up on Free America Radio Facebook page, the antimedia.org. Whoops, I clicked it twice. Sorry. Says here, school district. Yes, folks, school district in San Diego gets MRAP to store quote-unquote teddy bears. It's up on Free America Radio on Facebook. Go check it out. San Diego, California. While California schools are known for being rough, it is unlikely that even the toughest of students are establishing choke points and setting up improvised explosive devices to target teachers they don't like. The obvious conclusion to draw from San Diego Unified School District's decision to purchase a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle is that the school's chief of police should be terminated and the district needs its budget cut. There is no legitimate use for this tool in the district's inventory. If the district has thousands of taxpayer dollars to throw away on a useless vehicle, it obviously has too much money at its disposal. The decision to use the funds in this manner rests with Chief of Police Ruben Littlejohn. He should pay for the improper decision-making process with his job. The excuse given to the public was that the same vehicle used to patrol the streets of Baghdad will be used to store medical supplies and teddy bears. Excuse me. The reader should notice that this is not an article on The Onion. Quote, "Though there will be teddy bears in the vehicle, there will be trauma kits in the vehicle in the event any student is injured or other officers are trained to give first aid and CPR," unquote. The chief seems to believe that the MRAP will roll out whenever a student in the district is injured. This is, of course, a lie to sell the idea of militarizing a school police department to the public. San Diego does have an emergency medical service and school nurses. This is either an outright lie to the public or the chief's plan to endanger the students by utilizing the least trained person available to deal with traumatic injuries. Most staff members of the anti-media are trained in first aid and CPR. Would you prefer we handle an injury to your child or somebody who makes their living saving lives? The department is militarized and has a policy allowing officers to store AR-15s, a weapon effectively banned for civilian use in California. in the trunks of patrol cars on campus. Maybe the policy is only true if the rifles shoot out rainbows and flowers to accompany the teddy bear-filled MRAP. This is a school police department that has been militarized. Militarized. Perhaps, instead of wasting money on militarizing a school police force, the chief could train his officers to properly investigate teachers molesting students, or at least convince them to file a report when an incident is alleged. When a student alleged statutory rape at the school, the chief said after a failed cover-up by the administration officials. Yeah. Let that sink into your mind, folks. Quote, it was handled administratively versus criminally, unquote. Cover up. Catholic Church. What? You molested a boy? You molested a girl? Okay, just you leave here, go to another diocese. Cover up. Continuing, they must have used the same here we go. They must have used the same administrative powers the Catholic Church used to cover up sex crimes in their jurisdiction. Plain and simple, this cop has got to go. Okay? I'm going to say it again. I know I've said it before over and over and over and over ad nauseum. We are in a police state, folks. There is no doubt about it. Accept it. And you people out there who cannot accept the truth, well, you know, all I can say to you is what I say to a lot of people who can't accept the truth. And it just really, you know, here, let me give you what I hear those people telling me when I tell them that they have no clue what's going on. You know, the people that look at me and tell me I'm a conspiracy theorist. You know what I hear from them when I show them the truth? That's what I hear. That's all I hear. Because that's what they are. Bunch of sheep. Bunch of sheep. Hey, Brian Lang, I know you're not home, but I know you're probably going to hear this later. So I'm going to say this. You are more than welcome, my friend, to write an article about what's happening in your area with the overpasses, with the protests, all of that. Send it to me. I'll post it on the website at freeamericaradio.us. Anybody is open to send me articles. If you have an article that you want me to see, please send that. Okay? If you write an article that you want me to post on the website, you can do that. Here's where you send it. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. It's one of those things, folks. You ever have one of those days, because we're having them every day now, where you wake up and you're just like, okay, what kind of insanity am I going to be met with when I walk outside my door? You know, it's just amazing. I was before I go to the top of the hour break, I was a couple of months ago, I was kind of curious. And if you're curious, please, you know, here's what I was curious about. Nevada is an open carry state. It's a shell issue state when it comes to concealed carry. And you can get, you know, your license, whatever, you know, but you can carry. Fully open for everybody to see. As long as the law enforcement can see it from front, back, and side, you're good. You're good. So I thought to myself, So I called the Reno Police Department and I asked somebody there about this open carry policy. I said, well, what is the actual law? What is it? What can I do? And we talked a little bit. And they reminded me that if I'm openly carrying, there's two things I have to remember. One, I have the right, the constitutional right, not to surrender my weapon to a police officer, period. It's an open carry state. I don't have to for him to examine the weapon. I don't have to do that. And this person at the Reno Police Department told me to carry like a business size card, with all the pertinent information for the weapon. Just carry it and hand it to the police officer going, this is the pertinent information you need. Okay? That was one thing. I was surprised. The other thing is, this person told me was but remember that when regular citizens and civilians see you walking around with a gun, they may call the police. You know what I mean? So there you go. So I would, going back to the free speech area, I would even say this. If you live in a place that has legislated you into suppression, you know what I mean, defy all those unconstitutional laws. There's your rebellion right there. Don't do it, angrily or pissed off or what. Do it peacefully. Do it peacefully. Hey, you want to do two things at once? How about this? Go to the area that says free speech zone or free speech area and hand out, pocket constitutions. And hand out flyers that have a big red circle with a big red line through it that said, with that sign, that big, do that. That would probably freak out a few city council members, wouldn't it? I don't know. I don't know what you do in your area. I don't know. You know the area better than I do, so you can do things in ways that are going to benefit you and the people around you in your area. So whatever you decide to do, just send me pictures, man. I want to know what's going on. Send me pictures. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Or if you go to Free America Radio on Facebook and you catch me in a messenger over there, you can send me some audio clips of people you've interviewed or videos or whatever you want to send me. But you can also send it to Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Yeah, folks. What can I say? It's turn off your state-run media. Turn it off. Unplug your cable. Just have your internet service. You know why? Because a lot of like Netflix and Hulu and all that, they're cheap. $8 a month. Why do you want to spend $60 to $150 a month for cable? Okay. Get rid of your cable TV. Watch everything on the internet. You got Hulu. You got Netflix. You got a bunch of other things. You can also go to the websites and stuff like that of the networks if you really are so addicted to the state-run media that you can't live without it. But, just unplug, man. That's the only advice I can give you at this point. Just unfreaking plug, really, because what's the point in watching the state-run media? They've lied to you, folks. Every single one of them have lied to you. Okay? Going to go to break here in about a minute and a half, but I want to remind you that you can go to freeamericaradio.us, go to the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply, and you'll be helping out your family as well as Free America Radio Network, and I would love your support. You can also donate to Free America Radio Network through Bitcoin if you deal with that. You can also sponsor the show. I'm looking for sponsors, folks. Please sponsor the show. It's not going to break your advertising budget. Okay, it's very, very cheap. Go look at it. Go to freeamericaradio.us. Go to the sponsors page. And I'm very reasonable. And, of course, if you have any questions whatsoever, if you got comments, concerns, or anything else for that matter, even if you disagree with me, please email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. And I'm always here Monday through Friday, unless I'm off. I'm always here Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Last week I was a little busy and got behind, and so I had to put up podcasts and let you know I was still around. But Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network. freeamericaradio.us.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates, online at thelibertybeat.com. I'm Brian Hagan with your Liberty Beat for Thursday, September 18th, 2014. Gold opened today at $1,219, silver opened at $18.36, and Bitcoin is trading around $439. Support for Liberty Beat comes from sovereignminers.com. Interested in mining Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies? Well, Sovereign Miners has you covered. All purchases come with a free script ASIC miner. Visit sovereignminers.com to buy your miner today. And support for Liberty Beat comes from the Michael Cargill for Austin City Council District 1 campaign. Vote Michael Cargill to get the cars moving. Learn more or sign up to volunteer at cargillfortexas.com. Political advertisement paid for by the Michael Cargill for Austin City Council District 1 campaign. In the news, President Obama's goal to train and arm Syrian rebels fighting Islamic extremists gains approval. It happened yesterday when the U.S. House voted 273 to 156 in favor of the plan, despite strong vocal protests from both sides of the aisle. According to The Hill, opposition came from a broad spectrum of ideologies, with such liberal Democrats as Jim McGovern and Barbara Lee joined in their votes against the measure by conservative Republicans Michelle Bachmann and Steve Stockman. The Senate is expected to approve the plan today. School police departments across the country have taken advantage of free military surplus gear, stocking up on mine-resistant armored vehicles, grenade launchers, and scores of M16 rifles. The Associated Press reports that at least 26 school districts have participated in the Pentagon surplus program, which has come under scrutiny after militarized police responded to protesters in Ferguson, Missouri last month. Now, amid the increased criticism, several school districts say they'll give some of the equipment back, while others plan to keep the rifles they received. Nearly 24 education and civil liberties groups sent a letter earlier this week to the feds urging a stop to transfers of military weapons to school police. The Organization for Black Struggle is calling for activists to converge on Ferguson, Missouri from October 10th to the 13th for large demonstrations and civil disobedience. The actions are an effort to call attention to police brutality, militarized police, structural violence, and systemic racism. Beginning October 9th, thousands of leaders from around the country will arrive in Ferguson for a training session. Support for Liberty Beat comes from My Magic Mud, all natural teeth whitener. Go to My Magic Mud to hear a short interview with Dr. Griffin Cole. That's mymagicmud.com. And today's edition of the Liberty Beat brought to you by Brave New Books, your source for all things Bitcoin. Now hosting a Bitcoin ATM, located in Austin, Texas, 1904 Guadalupe Street, or online, bravenewbookstore.com. This is the Liberty Beat for Thursday, September 18th, 2014. Check out the website at thelibertybeat.com and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thelibertybeat. On Wednesday, the U.S. House approved the Audit the Fed bill by a vote of 333 to 92. The bill is being supported by Democrats and Republicans in larger numbers than in past years. However, it's not expected to pass the Senate. If approved, the bill would require the Government Accountability Office to conduct an internal audit of the Federal Reserve's monetary policy. Polls are open across Scotland in a referendum that will decide whether the country leaves its 307-year-old union with England and becomes an independent state. More than 2,600 polling places opened this morning and will close tonight. Turnout is expected to be high, with more than 4.2 million people registered to vote. A local activist victory just took place in Midland, Texas, as one man with a mission was able to stop his local government from giving subsidies to big business. Joel Rogers decided to spearhead a 2,500 signature petition campaign that would require voter approval for the city to give subsidies to developers. His primary goal? Stop a $500 million 58-story high-rise project. While Joel did not get the needed signatures, the media attention he drew to the situation put pressure on the developer, who decided to throw in the towel. Support for Liberty Beat comes from Margie Wildcraft's Grow Your Own Groceries. Homegrown food on every table. That's growyourowngroceries.org. And support comes from Roberts & Roberts Brokers Incorporated, specializing in precious metals since 1977. Now accepting Bitcoin. Online at rrbi.co or by phone 800-874-9760. This is the Liberty Beat for Thursday, September 18th, 2014. I'm Brian Hagan reporting. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
folks, welcome to the Free America Radio Network. This is the Views Expressed Live. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, and it is the 18th of September, 2014. How you doing? Are you good? Are you awesome? It's Thursday, folks. You got a couple of days before the weekend, or actually a day before the weekend. It's awesome, folks. I get to leave this weekend and go attend my niece's wedding. That's kind of cool, man. Yeah. Awesome. So you bet. So I'm going to be a little busy this weekend. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook if you would, please. There's not much there. I haven't put up much. So here's what we'll do. We'll go to Drudge Report, shall we? I'm going to go there. I don't know. You can do whatever it is you want to do. Well, Scottish independence results. YouGov poll predicts 54% no, 46% yes. Rolling coverage of results of the Scottish independence referendum as they come in, with reaction and analysis of the vote that could lead to Scotland leaving the United Nations, or United Kingdom, excuse me. Well, it's the same thing, huh? Yeah. Now, I wanted to bring that up because they're voting after 307 years to secede from the United Kingdom. I want to also bring you this story from the WashingtonTimes.com. Interceptor cell phone towers found near White House and the Senate. Videos starting all by themselves. Douglas Ernst. I wonder if he's any relation. Mysterious interceptor cell phone towers that can listen to someone's phone call despite not being part of any phone network have turned up near the White House and Senate. A company that specializes in selling secure mobile phones discovered the existence of several of the towers in and around the nation's capital. Quote, it's highly unlikely that federal law enforcement would be using mobile interceptors near the Senate, unquote. ESD America CEO Les Goldsmith told the technology website VentureBeat on Thursday. The towers are also capable of loading spyware onto a mobile device before passing off a victim's call to a legitimate network. Quote, my suspicion is that it is a foreign entity, unquote, he told VentureBeat. The reason Mr. Goldsmith doesn't suspect U.S. agencies of placing the interceptors is that the federal government already has the capability of tapping directly into the carriers. The devices, although often called a tower, can actually be as small as a suitcase. The website reported Goldsmith told the site he passed along the information he'd uncover to the Federal Communications Commission. That is the wrong place to send the information. Folks, this is getting too much. It's just getting way, way too much. I wonder, I'm just wondering, I wonder who's getting all of this information. I think Israel is getting it, some military organization in Israel. I mentioned that the last hour, I do believe. But I also think that everything that is going on is completely and utterly out of hand. It's just too much. So what are we going to do about it, folks? I think it's time for you to go protest in the streets. I think it's time for people in Reno, Nevada in specifically, the whole state needs to tell Harry Reid, get the hell out before we have you arrested. I'm all for arresting all the politicians that have committed treason against our states and against the United States of America. I'm all for that. I'm all for these far-left liberal loons that want open borders to pack up their crap and get to China or Russia. I'm all for that. I'm all for people standing up for what they believe in. And I don't see enough of that. I get to the point where I see people who are protesting, I use that in air quotes, but really don't know why they are protesting. Now, I can say this, though. I do know this, that some people protest because, hey, everybody else is doing it. What is it? Oh, I don't know. Let's just protest. So there's that part of it. The other part of it is people actually know what they're protesting and changes are made. Okay? So what are you going to do in your own city and your own county and every place else? I want to say this. I don't care too much for Judicial Watch. I really don't. It says here, feds in El Paso. Representative O'Rourke called to ban contact with Judicial Watch. Federal law enforcement sources in El Paso said that a United States congressman called their office to prohibit contact with Judicial Watch in the aftermath of a disturbing story confirming that Islamic terrorists are operating in the Mexican border city of Juarez. Ciudad, I think that's what it is, Ciudad Juarez. Sources tell JW that Beto O'Rourke, a Democrat who represents El Paso in the U.S. House of Representatives, telephoned the area offices of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Homeland Security Investigations, and the U.S. Border Patrol in an effort to identify and evidently intimidate sources that may have been used by JW. On August 29th, Judicial Watch reported that the militant group Islamic State of Iraq and Greater Syria is working in Juarez and planning to attack the United States with car bombs or other vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices. In the piece, cites high-level federal law enforcement, intelligence, and other sources confirming that a warning bulletin for an imminent terrorist attack on the border has been issued. Agents across a number of Homeland Security, Justice, and Defense agencies have been placed on alert and instructed to aggressively work all possible leads and sources concerning this imminent terrorist threat. In the aftermath, Judicial Watch story, Fort Bliss in El Paso Army Base near Juarez increased security measures, and the sheriff in Midland County, Texas, located halfway between Fort Worth and El Paso, confirmed that he received an alert bulletin warning from the feds that ISIS may have formed a terrorist cell near Juarez. O'Rourke evidently believes that someone on the inside is feeding Judicial Watch information because the facts in all of our reporting have been correct, according to government sources with first-hand knowledge of the matter. Quote, he called the El Paso offices of the FBI, HSI, and the USBP, asking if anyone was talking to Judicial Watch, unquote. One inside source told Judicial Watch this week. O'Rourke's calls were followed by a memo that came down through the chain of command threatening to terminate or criminally charge any agent who speaks to the media of any kind. Thus would include Judicial Watch, a non-profit legal watchdog that has broken a number of government corruption stories on its website and newsletter. Congressman O'Rourke's office emphatically denies making any phone calls to any El Paso federal law enforcement offices relating to this matter. His director of communication, John Meza, assures that no one in the congressman's office, including the congressman himself, has talked to any law enforcement agencies or officials to discourage or question contact with Judicial Watch or any other media outlet. Quote unquote, we don't do that, Meza said. The Obama administration steadfastly denies that Islamic terrorists are operating in Juarez, even as facts continue to unfold proving otherwise. Through the Department of Homeland Security, though the Department of Homeland Security has failed to respond to multiple inquiries from Judicial Watch, both telephonic and in writing, about this information, it has issued statements in the media rejecting the story. Is it possible that the administration called upon a trusty ally, a federal lawmaker from the targeted area, to silence the whistleblowers? After all, the administration has for years covered up, or at the very least downplayed, a serious epidemic of crime along the Mexican border, even as heavily armed drug cartels have taken over portions of the region. Judicial Watch has reported that the U.S. Border Patrol actually ordered officers to avoid the most crime-infested stretches because they're too dangerous, and patrolling them could result in an international incident of cross-border shooting. And who could forget the famous words of Obama's first Homeland Security Secretary, Janet Napolitano? The southern border is, quote, as secure as it has ever been, unquote. Well, this is where, folks, this is where the militia comes in. Okay? This is where the militia comes in. They have to step up, tell the Border Patrol, well, since you won't go over there because you're too scared and wimpy and you don't want to get, your hands dirty, then we'll go over there and help. Okay? I mean, that's just, what else do you do, Seriously. Now, I'm still looking at Drudge Report. What do you do? We have another neocon in the White House. And I don't know about this guy, folks. I really don't. I have a distinct feeling this guy just does not get a clue. No, I said that right. Does not get a clue. From thehill.com, Boehner, immigration reform will help boost the economy. It wasn't part of the jobs message, it wasn't part of the jobs message he planned to pitch, but Speaker John Boehner said Thursday that immigration reform would help boost the economy. Quote, immigration reform will help our economy, but you've got to secure the borders first. What? Wait a minute. Hold on. Didn't we hear that before? The Ohio Republican said after a speech at the conservative think tank American Enterprise Institute, quote, we've got a mess and everyone knows we've got a mess. Our legal system is broken, our border isn't secure, and we've got the problem of these who are here without documents, unquote. The speaker continued, quote, it needs to be fixed. We're a nation of immigrants. The sooner we do it, the better off the country would be, unquote. His immigration comments in response to an audience question weren't part of his prepared remarks. They followed a 20-minute speech in which Boehner laid out his 5-point plan to jumpstart America's economy. The AEI address served as the GOP's closing argument before the November midterm elections and came just as the House was wrapping up its final day of votes before sprinting to a campaign trail. Boehner didn't offer many surprises in his speech. He called for fixing the U.S. tax code, cutting spending, reforming the legal system, reining in federal regulations, and boosting education. Isn't that what they all talk about? Continuing, the speaker said opening up more areas of oil exploration and building the Keystone XL pipeline would, quote, really get our economy humming, unquote. Quote, We do these 5 things in a meaningful way. Along with the coming energy boom, we can reset the foundation of our economy for the next 2 to 3 generations and beyond, unquote, Boehner said. Boehner argued that GOP's first priority should be tax reform. He said all of the focus on so-called corporate quote-unquote inversions, where U.S. corporations buy foreign companies and move their headquarters abroad to avoid taxes, was short-sighted. Thank you, GATT and NAFTA. Quote, inversions are really just visible symptoms of a much deeper problem. Our tax code is terrible. No one understands it, certainly not the IRS, unquote, Boehner said. Quote, all this talk about inversions is just making the problem smaller. Quote, it's fussing over a divot when the road is loaded with potholes, unquote. You golfers out there know what that is. Continuing, he also tried to inspire. When fall arrives, Boehner said he's reminded of how cities and colleges built memorials to honor those who perished during the world wars. Quote, well, America has a tough schedule in front of it. We cannot avoid it, nor should we try, unquote. Boehner said during his pep talk, quote, America is not merely obligated to lead. We are again called to lead, unquote. He added, quote, and we are driven to serve in the same spirit in which our parents and grandparents built those living memorials, with humility and a desire to leave something that outlasts us. You know, it's kind of interesting, folks. It's kind of interesting when you have a person such as John Boehner, Speaker of the House, and you have someone who really, honestly, has absolutely no clue. Okay, now it all sounds good. It sounds really, really good. Okay, sounds really good, but it really isn't, folks. It really isn't. There's plenty of ways we can look at this. Plenty of ways we can look at this. And there's plenty of ways we can spin this too. But let me give you some truth with some facts. Boehner came in to do one thing and one thing only. Okay? That's what he came in to do. He didn't come in to make all these pep talk speeches and all this and you know, pro-socialism and all. No. He came in. What did he say before being Speaker of the House? Well, he got caught up in the gears of the New World Order. And let me play this before I go to break. Okay? Let me play this.
We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order, because the global order is changing again. And the institutions of the world that worked so well in the post-World War II era for decades, they need to be strengthened, and some have to be changed. So we have to do what we do best. We have to lead. We have to lead.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
You see, did you hear Biden there? What we have to do is lead. Isn't that what I just said here? Okay? Boehner said, well, America has a tough schedule in front of it. We cannot avoid it, nor should we try. America is not merely obligated to lead. We are again called to lead. This is what Boehner said. Okay, this article was posted today. Okay, let me go put this on the Free America Radio Facebook page. Okay. Now, what do we do? What do we do? Okay. What do we do? I'll tell you what we do. We grab these morons by the scruff of the neck and we tell them we've had enough. Talking metaphorically now, I'm not talking going into your city council or county board of supervisors or city hall and grabbing anybody. It's metaphorical. But we need to get out and we need to do something. And if that means that we get out on the street and protest, not 5, 10, 15 people, although that's good, that's a start. We need hundreds. We need hundreds of people. I remember watching a video a couple of years ago. I think it was a couple of years ago. It might have been last year, but it was Occupy San Francisco, Occupy LA. And I saw these people out there in the streets, citizens shutting down streets. Okay? At night. Okay? Why can't we do that? What is stopping us from doing that? Hear Brian Lang over at livetruthradio.com with his show. He talks on Monday. He talks with James Neighbors from overpassesforamerica.com. Brian Lang is in Ohio on the overpasses with other people. What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? All right? We have Michael Vera over at LateNightInTheMidlands.com having guests on that tell you exactly what's happening behind the scenes. We have people like Glenn Beck, who just a few months ago had somebody walk into his office with 2 lawyers. This person was from the State Department and literally handed Glenn Beck this information, which can shut down the State Department like that. Okay? We have Alex Jones and his people and people coming to him. We have Pete Santilli, who's telling you the truth, folks. And you're sitting there going, who's going to win Dancing with the Stars? I don't care who you like as a one of them that I just mentioned. I don't care if you like them or not. The message is there. Listen to it. And like they say, I've heard Glenn Beck say this. I've heard Brian Lang say this. I've heard Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality say this. I've heard, Alex Jones say this. Don't believe us. Go out and look this stuff up yourself. And I encourage people to do that. I'm going to go to break. Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. You're listening to The Views Expressed right here on the Free America Radio Network.
Samo Radio. Playing music for free so you can listen longer. Samo.
It's the 5 o'clock drive with Samo.
Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hey there, I'm Big Tiny. I'm the host of Big Tiny's Oldies and More. And we're playing music that you just love to hear from the 50s to the 90s. So check us out Monday through Friday and see what we're playing right here on Spreaker.com.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. For all you independent artists, musicians, and filmmakers, there is a place for you. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. Folks, this is the views expressed right here on the Free America Radio Network. Welcome back. freeamericaradio.us is the website. freeamericaradio@usa.com is the email address. Please email me. Let me know what's going on in your neck of the woods. Hey, if you got videos of your protests or any articles that you want me to put up on the website at freeamericaradio.us, please send them. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I want to give a big shout out to the one and only Mr. Brian Lang. Yes, over at livetruthradio.com. Go check out his show. And Live Truth Radio. Mondays, he has James Neighbors from overpassesforamerica.com. Check that out. And let me... have you ever looked at somebody and thought, you know, after they were speaking for a little bit, have you ever looked at somebody and thought, God, they're stupid? You ever thought that? The WashingtonPost.com. I'm amazed that they would print something like this. It went up today. Reed Wilson over there at the Washington Press put this up. Thank you, Reed. Only 36% of Americans can name the 3 branches of government. Wednesday marked National Constitution Day, the 227th anniversary of the signing of the U.S. Constitution. By the way, I would suggest you go look that up. Constitution for the United States of America. Continuing, but only 36% of Americans can actually name the 3 branches of government the Constitution created. That's according to a new survey from the Annenberg Public Policy Center, and it shows a huge percentage of Americans might need to take a civics refresher course. Only 38% of Americans knew the Republican Party controls the U.S. House of Representatives, while 17% think Democrats are still in charge. The number of people who knew Republicans were in charge has dropped 17%. Since the last time Annenberg asked, back in 2011, right after Republicans reclaimed control. Folks, the light's on, but no one's got the lampshade over the light. The elevator goes all the way to the penthouse, but nobody lives there. An identical number, 38%, knows Democrats run the Senate, while 20% believe Republicans control the upper chamber. Only 27% knew it takes 2/3 majority of the House and the Senate to override a presidential veto. Annenberg released a survey in partnership with the Civics Renewal Network, a group of 25 nonpartisan organizations, including the Library of Congress, the Newseum, and Newseum, okay? And the National Archives that offers free civics education resources. There you go. Other groups like the Civics Education Initiative are pushing to include more civics education in high schools by requiring students to pass the same citizenship test that immigrants do when they come to the U.S. That group will introduce legislation in 7 states that would require passage of the citizenship test before graduating. Have you ever seen the movie Divergent? We just saw that the other day. Holy crap. Just go check it out. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. Go watch the movie. Divergent. Continuing. They cite Annenberg's 2011 survey, which found just 15% of Americans could correctly identify the Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, while 27% knew Randy Jackson was a judge on American Idol. Only 13% knew the Constitution was signed in 1787. Reed Wilson covers state politics and policy of the Washington Post GovBeat blog. He's the former editor-in-chief of The Hotline, the premier tip sheet on campaigns and elections, and he's a complete political junkie. So there you go. Whoops, let me do this. I'm going to put this story on, put this link up on Free America Radio Facebook page. I had to take American history, U.S. history, world history in high school to get the hell out, to get my credits and get out. I myself personally believe that the education system in America needs to be changed. I believe that it needs to be changed to the point of, number one, not allowing anyone to get an education in this country unless they went through the proper channels to become citizens. Period. Okay? I also believe that teachers should make more money. I also believe that teachers should be given assessment tests every year. My mother worked in the Stockton Unified School District. I know a lot of teachers. Believe me, it wouldn't hurt. Okay? I believe that Common Core needs to get ejected from the system completely, thrown in the trash, burned up, sent off into space. Hey, whatever you want to do with it. It's fine with me as long as it's not teaching your kids that 2 + 2 is 5. All right? I believe the education system should be simple. Getting back to reading, writing, and arithmetic. Folks, 1 + 1 still equals 2. Let's keep it that simple, shall we? But let's put some truth into the education system with facts. Like George Washington, for instance. He was the first president of the United States. But did you know that they asked him to be king and he refused? England did. Did you know that George Washington was a 33rd degree Mason? Did you know that the United States was built upon the principles of Masonic teachings? That's number one. But everybody said it was all built by, it was on the principles of Christian philosophy. Okay, if you want to continue to believe that, that's fine. People don't even know that John Kerry, the Secretary of State, was skull and bones. Oh, and that's not all. Former President Bush, both of them were. Clinton was. Shall I go on? We need truth and facts in our classroom. John F. Kennedy was not killed by Lee Harvey Oswald. He was killed by our own people because Vice President Lyndon Baines Johnson had many talons. And I use that word very specifically. Let's put it more politically correct. He had many investments into a lot of companies that held government contracts. President Kennedy did not want to go to war. Lyndon Baines Johnson, on the other hand, made a profit from war. That's why he wasn't going to seek another term. Okay? Shall I go on? I would like to have more. The only thing that I can say at this point is that we have a screwed up nation. Oh, it doesn't matter what people think or say. The desire for peace, freedom, security, and liberty in this nation is stronger than it has ever been. I would even say that it's stronger than it was in 1775 and 1776. Well, duh, because there's more people now. But if 3% of the population back then beat back the biggest army in the world, the British Army, can you imagine what would happen if 10 million people went to Washington, D.C. and took care of business? Could you imagine? I don't know if we can get that many people rounded up and sent off to Washington, D.C. I don't mean to use that term, but I don't think we can rally the troops enough to even get 1 million to go. I don't think there's enough people who could encourage 500,000 people to go to Washington, D.C. and take care of business. Hell, if Louis Farrakhan can rally 250,000 people for a 1,000,000-man march, that's what it came out to be. I don't even think we can get 125,000 people to Washington, D.C. to take care of business. But can we? You're talking about overthrowing the government. No, I'm talking about taking care of business. We know the facts. We know these criminals in Washington, D.C. were set up. Their offices were bought. The presidency was paid for. By the way, did you know that 10 square mile area called Washington, D.C. is incorporated? Go look it up. Why do you think they call it the District of Columbia? That is the military arm of the triune group called the New World Order. The spiritual aspect of the New World Order is Vatican City. Okay? How about getting up off of your ass and going and looking this stuff up on your own and maybe sharing what you know with me? Hey, you know what? I don't know it all. You might find something I've overlooked. So please share that. Thank you. There's a lot of things that we know. I will have to say. There's a lot of things we know. There's a lot of things that we know, but as I've said before, there's a lot of things I don't know. I may have overlooked something, folks. Please share with me. Mr. Brian Lang over at Live Truth Radio. Mr. James Neighbors at overpassesforamerica.com. Hey, share with me if there's something I've overlooked. Thank you. Share that with me and everybody else listening to the sound of my voice. I also want you to go listen to another show when you can. Go listen to Bob Brutus over at wakingupthemasses.com. I still think that's a very good show. Let me go look. I'll see. Yes, wakingupthemasses.com. It says listen live. Click on that puppy right there. And it takes you to the schedule. Okay. It's Bob Brutus, wakingupthemasses.com. I'm just texting somebody. Facts are the facts, folks. Facts are facts. Well, you have facts too. I have facts. They're mine. Listen up. Your facts are wrong. I'm talking specifically to those people who don't want to accept the truth, they deny the facts that are out in front of them, and all they care about is sitting on their couch with a beer watching their stupid ESPN. Okay? I had a friend of mine tell me, well, I got my facts and you have yours. You know where she gets her facts or where... Well, actually, there's a lot of people that do this, and it really just irritates the hell out of me, and that is they go to places like Snopes.com, which is a piece of crap website. Don't even go there. It's just... Well, they have to have some truth. No, they don't. They're a piece of crap. Avoid them like the Black Plague. Places I go to, I just search for it. I just get, governmental corruption, the words in my head, and I go look for it. Governmental corruption. And it's there, and I find blogs, and I find all kinds of stuff. I share with you different views, different perspectives. Is it the truth? When you go to the government's own websites, including the UN's own website, and you look at the documents that are there and you read those things, hello, that's the truth because it comes straight from them. It's exactly what I've been telling you for 4 years now. The government has lied to everyone. Lied to everyone. And they put out their script to the propaganda in their scripts to the state-run media, and they lie to you. Did you know that in 2009, President Obama was head of the Security Council on the UN? That was illegal. I guess when he got the clue that people found out about it, he he left. 2009. Might have been longer, I don't know. But let me make sure that you understand where I'm coming from. I share the truth one fact at a time. If I overlook something, I overlook something. I don't know it all. And just because I have a perspective of something doesn't mean that I know it all, doesn't mean that I have all my ducks in a row. What I'm doing is I'm sharing with you the information, and hopefully if I've overlooked something, or I will encourage you to go look this stuff up yourself, and if I've overlooked something, I'm sure you'll let me know about it. Am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know. You be the judge. I know what I have. And all you got to do, folks, is go back in history, in the correct, accurate history, not the bull crap that's in the schools now, and look at what's out there. 1871, the Act of 1871. 1913, when President Woodrow Wilson signed the Internal Revenue Act and also the Federal Reserve Act into law, creating a private bank for all the billionaires, trillionaires that were out there at the time. 1964, get this, the Equal Rights Act, Civil Rights Act of 1964, that's what it was. And in that same year, a false flag event in the Gulf of Tonkin got us into Vietnam. Hello. 1993, a truck bomb goes off in one of the World Trade Center towers, and 8 years later, we have the event. That was planned. Took 8 years to do that, by the way. All through the Clinton administration. I wonder. So go look it up. It's all right there in your face. Have you ever done a puzzle? You look at the box, you're going, hey, that's a cool picture. It's a 1,000-piece puzzle. Well, let's put it together and go from there. That's going to be fun, and put the pieces of the puzzle together, folks. You'll find out that the picture on the front of the box is not what you thought it would be. You got the American flag on the front of the box with an eagle in front of it and a military person in front of that, standing there, and it says, United States of America. You put the puzzle together, and guess what? It ain't what's on the front of the box, is it? So anyway, I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to go out and do your own research on this. Again, if I've overlooked something, please let me know. I'm okay with that. Let me know. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. If you write articles and want me to post them on freeamericaradio.us, please send them. I'll post them. Give you full credit for it. If you've got videos of any protests that you're involved with or that you organized, please send that too. I'll put that up on the website. If you've got audio of someone you've, or even video, I can convert it to audio, of someone you interviewed, please send that as well. I'll play it here and give you full credit for it. A lot of ways to get your information out. Okay? So anyway, what do? We stand up. We speak out. We get involved. Thank you, Brian Lang, over at LiveTruthRadio.com. We get out. We show these people in control, or I should say these psychopaths that have these offices of leadership, that we've had enough of their bullcrap. And we need to do what we have to do. By the way, folks, there is no two-party system. The two-party system is bogus. It's false. Don't even believe in it. Get away from it. We've only had one party. We only have one party in the U.S. That's it. And it's a corrupt party. So chances are you got that in your city or county or state. So I would be the investigator as you are and start, eliminating some of the possibilities of all this stuff. Process of elimination to find out who the criminal is so that you can expose them. That's what you need to do. If you like this show, if you like the shows on Free America Radio Network, please, if you can, support this network. And you can do that by going to freeamericaradio.us. I do take Bitcoin. That's cool. Also, get your emergency food supply at the top of the page. Click on the link there. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network all at the same time. Or if you want to sponsor the show, I'm not going to kill your advertising budget at all. Go to freeamericaradio.us. Check out the sponsors page. It's very cheap. Okay? No, I'm just telling you, cheap is cheap, okay? For what you spend on at least 10 lattes at Starbucks, you can advertise your product or service on Free America Radio Network, specifically this show. So, yeah. So it's really, really cheap, folks. What else? Man, tomorrow's the end of the week. Let's hope things are better, shall we? Let's just hope. Hey, send out a lot of prayers and positive energy to Brian Lang and to James Neighbors and to all of the people that you have on the list of hosts that do shows like this. Because, folks, whether you believe it or not, this is kind of dangerous to do, okay? Because we expose these criminals for what they are, and who knows? SWAT teams are at the ready, if you know what I mean. So anyway, folks, email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. More than happy to hear from you. Please join me tomorrow. I may have a live show at noon. I don't know yet. I'll let you know. But come join me tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern for the views expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network. And I would love to hear from you. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. And if you want to contribute to the Free America Radio Network, to this show or to the Wayne S. Pierce Show on Free America Radio Network, please do go to freeamericaradio.us. Donate as much as you can. Go to the top of the page, hit the emergency food supply link or the other link there as well, and get as much emergency food supplies as you can. And you'll be helping out yourself and Free America Radio Network. So in the meantime, folks, remember, I'm here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Remember this, folks. We the people have the power, for we are America.